to be with you when you speak. And I'm going to tell you what to say. All I need you to do is use what I gave you. I need you to stop looking at what other folk can do and just do what I've called you to do. I'm coming down somebody's street here in a minute. God tells Moses, stop tripping with what you say you can't do and just do what you can do and do it the best that you can. I like how Ephesians 4:11 lays it out. He writes, Paul, when he's talking to the church at Ephesus, he says, now, these are the gifts that Christ gave to the church. Come on. Apostles, prophets, evangelists, pastors, and teachers. He says, and their responsibility. Their responsibility is to equip God's people to do his work. My responsibility is to equip you to do God's work. Not to do what I want you to do, but to do God's work. And he says, not only is it their responsibility to equip God's people to do his work, but to build up the church. But how many of you know that sometimes in order to build up, you got to tear some stuff down? In order to build up some things, there comes a point when you just got to level some things first. You got to get rid of some stuff. I told the 8:30 crowd, and I'll tell you that a couple of weeks ago, maybe about a month or so ago, my brother called me. Y'all know I'm from a little country town up in the north. And he was telling me about a business opportunity that presented itself to the family up there. And he wanted to get my opinion about it. He laid out the scenario to me, and there was a parcel of land. It was about 2.5 acres, and it had a big warehouse on the land. It wasn't a whole lot. I mean, it wasn't anything that you would really desire. As a matter of fact, when you drive by it, you would look at it and say, oh, that's a bunch of mess over there, and you just drive on by it. And he called me and he said that there was an opportunity for us to purchase this property. We wanted to use it for the bus line that we had, the charter buses, and so we could work on them there, store them there, and do some different things. And he said, what do you think I should do about it? I said, well, what do they want for it? 2.5 acres with a large warehouse and things on there. It wasn't anything that you would really desire, David, because it was pretty raggedy. But it was 2.5 acres with a large warehouse sitting there in the downtown part of Cotton Valley, Louisiana. Which in and of itself, because of its address, was something that one should desire because it was downtown. 2.5 acres with a large warehouse, and he said they want $5,000 for it. I said they want what? I was trying to see if Federal Express was working that evening. I was trying to get them a check there right away. But with what we wanted to do, people would drive by that property. 2.5 acres with a large warehouse that was not really attractive to anybody, but it didn't have any purpose because it was raggedy. And they would look at it as if to say, I don't want that. But when I drove by that property and looked at those 2.5 acres with that large raggedy warehouse on it, that I saw buses being repaired there, I saw buses being stored there, I saw things being maintained there, I didn't see the raggedy warehouse. I saw potential and opportunity. But what I realized right off the bat was that if I wanted to get what I wanted on the property, that I first had to tear some stuff down. And I hear God telling me, he said, pals, in order for you to get the people, in order for the people to get where I want them to be, there's some stuff that's going to have to be torn down first before I can build them up. There's some stuff in life, there's some stuff in the character and in the mindset of the people that before they can really begin to be the people that I've called them to be, there's some stuff that has to be torn down. On yesterday, I had the privilege, one that don't come often, to ride with my wife in her little car. It's a small car, but it's a fast car. I learned right off, after just a few moments of riding with her, that she's an aggressive driver. She's very aggressive in her driving, and we went down the highway at a very fast clip. And I sat on my side praying in the Holy Ghost, believing and trusting that God was going to take care of us. And as we were going from the east side of town to the west side of town, there was a large white four-wheel drive with large tires in the lane that was just to our left. And in a very fast, aggressive manner of driving, we kept going and going and going, and I was mashing stuff and reaching for stuff. And all of a sudden, the large white pickup truck with the four-wheel drive, the large tires, much larger than the vehicle in which we were riding in, started coming from his lane over into our lane, and she became very agitated. And she very firmly stated, I can't stand when folk do that and come out of their lane and get into somebody else's lane. And I said, wow, that was a very profound spiritual statement that she was saying that they just stay in their lane and let her stay in her lane, that everything would be all right. So we very aggressively kept on going down that street, and less than a minute and a half later, we reached our exit, where it was time for us to exit the 4-lane freeway. And we were about 3 lanes to the left. And she decided at that moment that it was time for us to exit. And in a very aggressive state, she shoo, not 1 lane. She went all the way over. And it quickened in my spirit right away that, didn't you just say a few moments ago? Oh, I'm going somewhere. That it frustrates you when people don't stay in their own lane. How is it in church? We get mad when folk dibble and dabble in the areas that we feel that we are supposed to be doing and moving and operating in, but we don't have a problem when we step over in somebody else's lane.